Was the Apostle Paul the original Antichrist? Former minister and Bible college graduate Jeffrey Daugherty raises this and other staggering questions from the New Testament itself. The Christian whistleblower asks if Jesus' original message has been warped into a fear and guilt-based control matrix. Here's Ali with more.
Thanks, Seb. Daugherty's 35 years of research challenge everyone to consider new perspectives and ask themselves, just what lies behind my religion? Are we born with original sin or the spark of divinity within?
Deep questions, Ali. Thanks. The Christian whistleblower. We'll be watching.
It's late night in the Heartland. Great to see you. Great to hear you. Great to be with you. All right. Great crowd tonight. Great crowd. Outstanding. So nice to see you. In just a few minutes, Becky from Find the Light will be joining us. Looking forward to hearing from her tonight about how the reptilians are giving us their mind. And I just want to give you an update. You know, the other night we got a live death threat on Facebook, and the death threat was, I need to end your life. Well, some of the people that reported that I've heard back from Facebook, and apparently when you say I need to end your life, Facebook does not consider that to be a death threat. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what they would consider to be a death threat. I'm going to kill you, mama. I don't know. But I need to end your life evidently does not qualify. And just to make it more interesting, I am unable to block that person. I am unable to ban that person from the channel. So it looks to me like that might be some type of a paid professional type troll that is protected. So, folks, I say all that just to say, you know, things are going good. We're doing well. And the people that are being opposed are the people that are doing well. So take heart. We're very, very happy. I want to say welcome to all the cousins. It is an honor and a privilege to be your humble servant. Well, maybe not humble, but to be your servant. We're so glad that you're here, and we're growing and we're expanding. And I'm getting better, and we're getting better, and it's very, very a great time to be here. And also to all of our visitors, we appreciate you so very much. A special shout out to visitors from Magenta Pixies channel. There's so many of you. You're so wonderful. You're so amazing, and I appreciate you very, very much. And a special warm welcome to our trolls. We love our trolls. They're most of them. I mean, some of them aren't even real people, but when they come here, they add up minutes on the channel. They put comments and those count. They put thumbs down and those count. What do they count for? They count for driving our numbers up in the algorithm. And then real people that would not have seen the show otherwise see the show because it goes up higher in the organic ranking. So thank you so much, our trolls. We love you a long time, and I hope to see you returning. So tomorrow night we are going to have... tomorrow night is Tuesday. We have nobody. We have me. We're going to talk about Donald Trump fiddling while the Republic burns. It's going to hurt a little bit, but hey. Wednesday night, the great Mike King to talk about the hidden history of World War II. Thursday night, the legendary Joe Atwell to talk about Caesar's Messiah. And then Friday night, you're probably stuck with me again as well. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I really am excited. I'm really happy. I have never spoken a word to Becky, but we're going to fix that in just a minute. Tracy Dyer, our great moderator extraordinaire, sent me a video, said, hey, check this lady out. This sounds really interesting. And I usually don't watch videos, but I went and I watched it. And in about 2 minutes, I knew, wow, I have to have this girl on. And I think we've talked before in the past about coming on and things didn't work out. But when I saw this video, I knew that she had some high-level knowledge. I knew that she had some real connection to the divine mind, and she's very humble, and yet you can see and sense that she has a very powerful spirit. Her channel is called Find the Light. It's in the box below, and I'm very, very happy to have Becky with us tonight. And with that, Becky, it's time. Becky, welcome
Hi,
in.
Jeffrey.
We've never
Hi.
spoken before, right?
No, we haven't.
But
It's
we
the
did
first time.
correspond a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, you stood me up, Jeffrey.
I stood you up. Surely
You
not.
did. Yeah,
Surely
it's all
not.
okay though.
Did I really?
No, we didn't actually make a date. You just like sent me an email going, "Can we make a date?" And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. You know, I'm very happily married right now, but I would never stand up a beautiful woman. I promise. It wasn't intentional. Not intentional. Becky, tell us a little bit about your channel, what it's all about, and what your purpose there is, because I know you have a very clear mission.
Oh, my channel. Basically, I'm a healer. I deal with lots of things, not just reptilians, but people come to me with their issues, and I can look sort of deeper into people, not this sort of physical reality, this reality that we see. We're actually creating it in light bodies, our male light bodies, and that we're all connected to Gaia, and around that is a matrix system, that a belief system. And I kind of just go in and help them, because we get like implants, synthetic energies, we take on other people's consciousness. And so I help people, lots of issues, emotional, mental, people have physical issues, and people who are being attacked by ETs. And yeah, so, and that's been, yeah. And it kind of got into interesting development a couple of years ago. So I started to see more and understand more, and that's kind of led me on the journey that I have been on, which you're about to see on YouTube. So all my understandings has come from actually looking at people that have come to me for help, and then I share that and helps me understand why reality is the way it is.
Interesting. So you're basically helping people maybe decode or understand reality in a deeper fashion.
Yeah. So what I first discovered on the journey is that when we're children, especially in the first 7 years of life, we go through a trauma. It can be a very small trauma. We wouldn't think it as a trauma. It's not like a car crash or something, like just very small. And then what the matrix does, our consciousness splits and places that trauma in a holographic room outside of our light bodies. And even though, imagine, we're like a river of consciousness, we've got light bodies, but even if the consciousness comes away from the main light body and goes somewhere else, we can still connect to that part of that consciousness. So our point of perspective can change, we can trigger, and we go into a part of consciousness that's in trauma, and a part of our consciousness that's very childlike, and a part of our consciousness that has certain belief. And that belief then changes the way we view reality and can really mess with us. And the matrix likes to keep us in these certain belief structures and make it very difficult for us to actually find our authentic self.
You know, that's fascinating, because I am one of the very few, I guess, and it's, you know, some people cringe, and I hope you don't cringe, but I am a practitioner and a believer in what I call white Dianetics. Now, don't get freaked out, because Dianetics that we know of as black Dianetics, it's MK Ultra, it's bad, but it was stolen from white Dianetics. And white Dianetics teaches something very similar to what you just said. When we have traumas, they get put off, we call it, into the reactive mind, but it's functionally exactly the way you're speaking. So people on this channel are very, very familiar with what you're talking about, and I think that we're very much on board with your concepts. And several people have said that you have a very calming presence. They already trust you, and that everything is very, very interesting, and we're looking forward to a great show. So how long have you been dealing with reptilians?
All my life.
Really? What do you think they are, Becky? Are they actually lizards? Are they energetic beings? What in the heck, Becky, from Find the Light, are reptilians?
Pain in the ass? No.
Yeah,
reptilians. I mean, obviously, I haven't been aware. I've been dealing with reptilians all my life. So before I started to see the matrix and light bodies, people would come and they're being attacked and stuff like that. So I'd got used to the energy. So when I travel, I got used to that energy. And some actually were very pleasant. You don't all reptilians.
That was my next question. So not all reptilians are malevolent, are they?
No. But so yeah, they are beings, and from what I understand at the moment, that these have come from, they've been messed, their DNA is actually where they started is actually, how do I explain? Outside of this universe, there's another universe where you've got these watchers, these giants, and they came in and started to mess with the consciousness. Our universe used to be beautiful, balanced, perfect. And they came in and they plucked 12 different consciousness and placed and started to mess with our DNA. And these seems to be one of the beings that came from that.
Let me ask you another question. This is kind of weird. I spent 20 years, actually 25 years as a minister and evangelist. I did a lot of casting out of demons, etc. And one time when I was casting out this demon, I noticed standing over in the corner, it looked like a great big kind of like a mantis being just standing there very calmly taking notes. Do you think the mantis beings are related to the reptilians, or would you say that would be a separate and distinct species or being?
Yeah, I think it's a different being, but it's they work to, can work together, so they have the same
So have you caught them working together, so to speak?
Oh, I've done so many. I probably have. But I can't, nothing that's like vivid that comes to mind, but I'm sure I've been in contact with them at some point. I don't really deal with, I mean, recently with the reptilian, the video that you done that contacted me, there was a reptilian energy, but a lot is what I see is just consciousness now. So I sort of come away from the projection and actually get to the consciousness. So it's kind of, and attacks from ETs is generally, there's something within our own consciousness that's bringing that on. If it's a belief structure, a trauma, they get through insecurities, vulnerabilities to the beliefs that we have. So it's really, I don't really, it's working with that individual and helping them get stronger within their energies.
Interesting. Now, a lot of people on this channel, and maybe including the hosts, I'm just not sure. I try to keep an open mind on everything, but a lot of the people on this channel are not convinced of the reality of, let's say, universal extraterrestrials, but are convinced that extraterrestrials might be beings from other parts of Earth that we don't know about, from other dimensions, from beneath the ocean, from beneath the Earth, from somewhere in Antarctica. And if that were true, would that mess up your idea and the effectiveness of your work?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
No,
I think that's
no.
a beautiful answer, and that you're exactly right. Please hold your calls until we open up the phone lines. We're not doing that yet. And Becky, I'm very, very happy that we had you on. I really appreciate your spirit. Your energy is fantastic. And if you could just kind of take the reins and pretend it's your show. Just walk us through that explanation that you were giving, which was brilliant, on how these reptilian entities are all too successfully, I fear, working on giving us their mind. This is Becky from Find the Light, ladies and gentlemen. Her channel is linked in the box below, and I encourage you to go and subscribe. We need to help good people, and we need to push good people. And she's good people. So please go do that. And again, hold your calls until I open the lines, please.
Thank you. Okay.
You're on.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Okay. So what I discovered recently, well, let's go back to the blue DNA. So you hear of the blue buds and, linked to royal families and blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I'll go over to the other side.
Are you related to the royal family, by the way?
Am I linked?
Yeah. Are you related at all to the royal family?
No, not related.
Just know if I should call you Lady Becky or something along those lines.
No. So anyway, that you heard of when people say blue bloods?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. So actually that is a AI construct that goes into the male light body. Now we have a male light body, we have a female light body, and the male light body, when I look at the male light body, so past this projection and into the consciousness, the male light body is where we create this reality. And the female light body, our hearts, is, you know, the information comes in, and we're supposed to program ourselves really from our own heart consciousness. And their objective is to get us to program outside of ourselves. So we don't listen to ourselves, we go outside of ourselves, hence the God program, religions, to many, many belief structures that they want in place to create the reality that they want.
So profound. Now, did you say the royal family would be from the male construct? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they would have the blue DNA.
Okay.
Which is an AI construct that was placed in our consciousness by the Watchers. So you have these giants that started to mess with our consciousness, and they got 6 parts of our consciousness. They placed a spider consciousness in, and a blue DNA, and then they got another 6. They placed a dragon consciousness and another DNA. But
wow,
yeah. So, and these two. You've got dragons and spiders. It's getting a bit confusing, but they are programmed to fight.
Let me just ask, because I have to. Are there also benevolent dragons and spiders?
Yeah, this consciousness, they've been abused. They've been taken from outside of our. They're not natural to this universe. This consciousness. They've been placed here and abused and merged with our consciousness at some point. And then you've got dragons that sort of help keep the matrix in place, but they've been trapped in here, manipulated and abused by the Watchers. So, but they are programmed to fight with one another. So if someone's got like a spider consciousness and they meet someone who's got a dragon consciousness, they're kind of programmed to fight.
If you got invited to go on Coast to Coast AM, would you go?
Would I go? Yeah, of course.
You're fabulously interesting, and I get calls fairly regularly from the producer. Hey, do you know anybody interesting? So if you don't mind, I'm going to give her your name, because this is coast to coast quality material here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please continue. We got reptilians, we got mantis, we got spiders, we got dragons, and we got the royal family so far.
I know. I am sane. You know, it's so yeah, this blue DNA was placed. So if you look at like the royal families, but I get people coming to me all the time and they've got this blue DNA in. It doesn't make them royal. It just goes passed along the consciousness. Gotcha. And what this does, it affects the way our brains work. So it tries to stop the evolution of our brains. It does different things depending on the consciousness that it's in. So I just rip it out. And also, if you're born into this blue DNA, you are deemed owned by the reptilians.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not something they can enforce, right? We can enforce our own sovereignty if we know how to do so, right?
Saying like, I want to be free. No, it's like that blue DNA, you're ours. You're one of ours. So it's yeah. So I just pull this blue DNA out. It's not real DNA. It's not consciousness. It's just technology. So
Excellent.
Yeah. Easy peasy. And
I like the compliment.
So, and then what I discovered recently is that it was really quite emotional, actually, Jeffrey, because it affects our babies, affects our children, and it has affected us, see adults. But what I started to see in adults abuse victim mentality in their brain. So I was looking at the consciousness, and able to really go deep into the brain and look at how the consciousness works, the male, female consciousness, and they could have a very abusive victim mentality. So they could be very abusive to themselves, and then that could be projected on the outside to other people, or they could be in victim mode. Now, the way our brains work has a lot to do with our parents. So the way our mums and dads interact with one another our brain copies that. So if our mum and dad have a beautiful relationship, the communication is really well, then the left and the right brain is going to be fantastic. It's going to communicate really well. But if, say, the dad's very abusive and the mum's like, you know, bless her, she's being abused, then you're going to have a victim abusive mentality. So
and how early do we start picking up on this?
Straight away. Straight away,
way
like as
from
soon as you go
right?
in the womb, it starts.
Brilliant. We're so on the same page, Becky. It's weird. We don't know each other. We don't listen to each other, but we're very much on the same page. And this is what I love about reaching out, because, you know, I do things my way. And of course, I think I'm right and brilliant. But then there's people like you that are we're in another universe, sort of. But we're saying it's like me and Magenta Pixie. The two people in the world that are any different than me and Magenta Pixie might be me and young Pharaoh. But it's so beautiful when you look and you see. And Michael Jackson, oh, it's so beautiful. But when you look and see two different people from two different genres giving the same truth in two different fashions, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it makes you feel less crazy when I hear confirmation back and I find out information and you know, information comes to me and then you get it from other people who picked it up. You're like, hey. You know,
we're not crazy.
Yeah, we're not crazy. So
or at least there's more crazy people than we thought, and we feel safety in numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
So they can.
All my favorite people are crazy people.
Right. You can start picking up on your parents.
Yeah.
While you're in the womb.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeffrey. So what I started to see, though, is that this abusive victim mentality didn't always line up with how the parents were. It was kind of, and then okay, so I'll just tell you one case that I worked on recently. This lady came to me and she got a little boy, and he was 4 years old, and she said he's saying really odd stuff. Like he wants to hit people, but he knows it's wrong, or he's getting bad thoughts, but he knows it's wrong, or like he doesn't like that person, but he knows he does like that person. And it was like a really conflicting thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was worried about him. So I went and had a look at him, and I noticed there was a red cord in his spine. Now, red cords I've always seen, and I know they're linked to the reptilians, but I didn't investigate any further, and I just take them out, and they're not supposed to be there. And then she was working with a healer, this healer, and so the healer was going into his field, and so I was like, for some reason I went and checked her out, and she looked beautiful, and so I was like, okay, that's great. And then I followed all this light that she was connected to, because she's connected to like these galactic beings. So I followed all this light, and this like beautiful ET being came along and presented herself. And I was like, wow, you know, it was like angelic looking, but it didn't feel much. It was just the look.
Now, do you see these things in your mind's eye, or do you see physical manifestations?
Yeah, no, they come through. So my heart reads it, and then it gets transferred to my mind.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then all this, it just felt fake. It was too perfect. This is not right. You know, I meet consciousness all the time that you know, people believe in angels and all this. It's just rubbish. And so there was all this fakeness came down, and when all this fakeness came down, she believed she was connected to these galactic, beautiful, lovely, love and light ETs, and actually what she was connected to was a reptilian energy. It was just reptilian energy all around.
And did I hear you say it was rubbish?
Rubbish, yeah, all the galactic love and light rubbish that
I love it.
Connected to. And it was just this huge reptilian agenda. And the healer, she'd been working for these galactic beings and believing they're probably beings of light, but she had actually placed this red cord into this little boy. And what this did, that this red cord, some reason, when the red cord's in the spine, the reptilian energy was able to go up this boy's spine into his brain. So when he was sleeping, so when I went to him, and I was looking at the right side of his brain, because this is where all the reptilian energy was. And they were placing images of violence in his brain while he was sleeping at night, to dinosaurs, to all this sort of. So they were programming this little boy at night, and I called this the dinosaur programming.
Dinosaur toys are programming children to interact with reptilians, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is probably why we get so much dinosaur programs for kids, to the movie industry, to everything like that.
How dark and filthy and despicable and demonic is Barney? Horrible.
Yeah.
I knew there's a reason I didn't like Barney.
Yeah, I never liked Barney either.
I feel vindicated now. Please continue.
That's why I didn't like him. Yeah. So yeah, so it was really like, oh my God. So these healers that are working with these beings actually are, yeah, and they're hooking our children up to, I think it's like the reptilians want fresh blood that they can program. Maybe they run out of people with the blue DNA, and they can't see them as their own, and then they need a guy on the ground to get the connection up.
Right. Yeah. Oh, so one of the ways they're trying to give us their brain is by suggesting to us as children that they're great beings and we should interact with them. And in that interchange, they leave things behind, I would guess. Is that even close to accurate?
Yeah, well, what this does to the brain, it makes the brain the right side of the brain far more dominant. If you look at the aggression on that side, what actually happens is the left and the right brain starts to split, because the left, where the mum's consciousness is and that child's consciousness is, female consciousness, can't recognize the masculine consciousness because it's got all this reppy energy in it, and it starts to move away because it's scary. And a female energy needs to be in a safe place in order to come through the body. If you've got someone petrified, absolutely petrified, frightened, the female energy, the heart energy, can't come into the body. It's too scared. So it needs a safe environment, a safe body. And if it's got this reptilian energy in it, then it's just going to move away. And what this does is splits the left and right side of the brain. So they stop talking to one another, and people lose the connections to their hearts. And when it happens when they're little, they start to lose the connection to their mums.
So you've just hit one of, I keep interrupting you, but this is just so fabulous. You've just hit on one of the key reasons why Christianity does everything it can to shut down women and the female and the sacred feminine and make it Christianity a very dangerous place for the feminine.
Yeah.
Wow. Brilliant.
Yeah. Cheers.
Keep going. This is brilliant.
Yeah, it's funny thing because like sexist and stuff like that. And if people knew, everybody has female energy and everyone has masculine energy. So anyway, there's sexism and dissing women. They're actually dissing themselves, because you're made up of female and male energy. Makes perfect sense. And our female energy is obviously where all our joy, loves, our gifts. It's our healing energy. The reason people get sick is because they lack female energy in their body. Every trauma that someone has is because of the lack of female energy in their body. If you've got somebody working and they have pure female energy and it's in their body, and they'll never get sick. We're not supposed to get sick. This is unnatural. Yeah. So let me ask you what seems like a silly question, but I never get sick. Does that mean that I'm in touch with my feminine side? I'd have to look in, but yeah, it probably is. Yeah. Yeah. Because I am kind of like, well, anyway, yeah, I think I am in touch with my feminine side. That's brilliant. I mean, you are just dropping bombs here, Becky, in a good way. That's good. Not physical bombs. No, you're dropping bombs of blowing off. That's good. The chat room is just beside itself with all of the great stuff that you're bringing to us, and we really appreciate it. And just keep going. Keep telling us how they're giving us their mind. Okay, so once they split the female and masculine energy, then that side becomes more dominant. So they start to behavioral problems may set off in the children, and they lose connection with their mums. And then also, like, what I see is that the more, I was looking at a gentleman, the more the split in the brain, the more brain damage, so the more like autism and everything like that is where it comes from. So the splitting of the brain, so like learning difficulties, everything like that. So I've been learning about the brain since Christmas. It's fascinating, like what we do to ourselves and how it damages the brain. And actually, we're like brain damage. We're walking around brain damage, and we don't even aware. We just put it down to other things. So what I see is like, what else they try to do is the immunizations that people have. Well, that actually it puts metal like this. When I look at the brain, it's like liquid metal in certain parts of the brain, and it causes certain issues. And depending on the person I'm looking at, will be different each time. So it may cause irritation, sleeping problems, anger problems. But what it does also is that the brain is under attack. So if the brain's under attack, they feel unsafe in their brain. Like no trauma, the traumas come from the injections, and probably another reason why we have immunizations. And that keeps us detached from our, hard for us to get contact with our female energy.
So Token Toker is in the chat room, and he says that he's trying to heal his brain. Could you give him just a quick clue or tip about how to access his feminine energy so he could expedite his healing?
Okay. So our brains are also like the waste department. So what I see is that the brain is the stress that gets stressed in the brain. All that needs to come out. It builds up, and we need the female energy and the brain work together, and it all comes out of the body. So one, exercise. Two, the visualization. So if you're meditating, so if you go into a visualized state, start to visualize the brain and the left and the right hemisphere coming together.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. Just clearing yourself. It's difficult because obviously I do it on other people, but yeah, it's just the belief that you can do these things. I mean, everything that I believe we're far more gifts. We can do way more than we've been programmed to believe, and that the belief and the trust in yourself that you can do these things, and just visualize it's your body, bring it back together, the left and the right brain. So if you I just started teaching people actually, and they haven't, not that I can teach them, but I can just guide them and help them discover what they can do consciously with their consciousness. And it's been lovely because it's like, oh, I can't do anything, and then give them little tips and stuff like that, and they go off and they've seen this and that and that and that, and it's so cool. It's really good. So we can do way more than we are led to believe. So going into a relaxed state, the attention to have a look at your brain. And also the brain is very compartmentalized. So every little nodule in the brain, there's a piece of consciousness which could not relate to any other of the consciousness so they work separately. And each bit has a certain belief, a certain emotion within that. So when we trigger and we go into a certain part of the brain, that perspective, we'll feel that consciousness and that certain belief. So what I do is kind of go in and with the help of their female energy, start to heal that, because female energy is healing energy to calm all that consciousness down. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. So once they get our minds split, then what do they try to do to us next to give us their mind?
Well, once they split the mind, I suppose it's the masculine energy, the right side is way more dominant, and people stop listening to themselves, and they're more likely they need information. The right side needs information to function. So they start to go outside of themselves. But it's like this abuse that happens within the body. And then that's inflicted into our reality, projected into our reality also. So if you look at the relationship between overall men, women, it's not equal. All the female energy and how that is abused so much across the world, it has been, and basically we're abusing the healing energy, the joy, the love, the compassion, the empathy, all that kind of stuff. So and it keeps us completely out of balance. It makes life very, very difficult individually and then collectively. And then it starts. My partner Toto made a really good point at the weekend. We are so disconnected from ourselves. There's a sense of loss, and then we feel like we need to belong somewhere because we don't have the connection within ourselves. So if we don't belong, then we like to be in groups to get that sense of belonging. And if you look at reality, everyone's in groups. If it's the vaxxers, the non-vaxxers, if it's Trump, if it's Biden, they're groups that fight with one another, and they will defend the hill because they don't have that sense of union within themselves. So they have to be out, in a group outside. They, oh God, I am belong somewhere. Well, that comes from the sense of being disconnected within themselves. If we want a reality where everybody's union and working together, then we have to have the left and the right brain together, working together, and listening to oneself and creating your own individuality from your own consciousness, and not being programmed outside from society, parents, to how one should live their life. If that's how many a lot of not a lot, but a lot of my work is people coming to me and they're not happy, is because they're not connected to their heart, they're not listening to themselves, and they're not creating the life that they want. And they've gone down a program route, which doesn't create a lot of happiness.
Becky, do you think, we're talking to Becky from Find the Light, do you think that this is a key maybe to, we're just not very good at relationships anymore, personal romantic relationships, and we're trying to have a relationship with another person when we haven't even perfected a relationship with ourselves yet?
Exactly. Yeah. You'll find whatever's going on with your consciousness within the body, then that gets projected into a relationship. So you'll have the issues. So when I look at somebody's energies and see how their male and female are interacting, you'll get the same issues within the body that is then in the relationship. It may not, but it will be there perceived. So if the male's not listening, the male's not listening to the heart, then if I'm dealing with a woman, the woman will be like, my husband doesn't listen to me. And I'm like, you're not listening to yourself. So it's like everything that's in gets projected in. So but quite interestingly.
So the movie Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
And he says to, what was it, Renee Zellweger? He says, "You complete me." He's completely wrong, right? He needs to be saying that to Tom Cruise in the mirror, right?
Yeah, but what amazing what can happen, and what humanity is doing is fighting the system in a beautiful way with love, because love brings us together. Now, if you've had a really difficult life, if your dad is brought up with a lot of abuse on the masculine side, and all you know is abuse, then your right side would be what's quite interesting is that we take on other people's consciousness. So we take on our parents' consciousness. So what I do is help the consciousness release other people's consciousness. So the reason that our right side of the minds can abuse the female side is because of other people's influence on us. So it's getting rid of that. So if you generally, you'll attract the same. So you'll attract a partner that is similar to your masculine. But if you actually listen to your heart and fall in, you can actually your partner could reprogram the masculine. And this is what real masculine energy is. So if you've got a partner that isn't abusive, that isn't deceiving or, manipulating, that will help you because our perceptions of masculine or our perception of feminine has an effect on one another. So if our female perceives masculine a certain way, that actually has effect on our own masculine energy. And then we can project that onto other men as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we just talked, I think it was Friday, maybe it was last night. Recently, we talked about suggesting that possibly, at least in the United States, all of these serial killers are good-looking white men, and we're speculating, is the system trying to create this fear of good-looking white men and projecting them as being bad? And this kind of kind of speaks to that. It's very, very interesting. Would you say this has any relevance to, transsexualism, gay type of manifestation?
Yeah. I'll do gay homosexuality. So what I've seen when people come to me and they've had, they're gay or they're not how do I say this? There are a lot of gay people have had issues with the opposite sex. They've had issues, so it feels safer to go with the same sex.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, but I'm sure there are gay people. I've looked at and he's gay. It's natural. It's normal for him. But there are people that I've looked at. One lady, she's female, she was a lesbian and stuff like that. So worked on her feeling safe with men, and she's with a man now. So yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot. It's come from trauma.
How do you know, Becky, when you have, I'll say a reptilian, I know that oversimplifies it, but how do you know when you have a reptilian or reptilian consciousness is trying to seep into your consciousness? How can you tell, and what can you do?
How can you tell? Well, they start very early. So with the little boy, it's like aggressive behavior, like it doesn't make sense if the behavior is just off. Now, if I'm just trying to think.
Now, can it come on? Like, could I be? I'll be 58 years old this year. Can I all of a sudden start getting attacked by reptilians trying to give me their mind, or does it have to be something where I'm groomed from a very young age?
You come in and you're kind of deemed owned if you have the blue DNA.
Gotcha.
So there's that, and then it goes down the family line. It's like really dysfunctional families. Do you know what I mean? Like it comes from like there's always issues and stuff like that. But we kind of the reptilians kind of uphold the belief structures that we have. So I don't know if there's problems within you, if you've got an over dominant mind to aggression to. I'm just trying to think of.
Have you helped abductees before?
Yeah.
Is it normally the reptilians that are doing the abducting?
No. I mean, yeah, you there's like bases around, and reptilians are involved to lots of different ETs, really. They like to come and take the eggs, to put implants in us, to split the consciousness, experiment on the consciousness, investigate. You get benevolent ones, you get nasty ones, you get really positive ones. It just depends on the. So yeah, I've dealt with a lot. So I've written a lot about that actually, and done YouTube videos on certain cases that I've looked at.
Now, where do people find your writings? Do you have a website?
I do. It's findthelight-rb.co.uk. I've got all the YouTube videos. There is blogs on there. There is Patreon site if you want to sign up to the Patreon site. Findthelight-rb.co.uk.
Okay, so findthelight-rb.
Yeah.
.uk.
.co.uk.
.co.uk. Okay, I'm just putting it in the chat room so everybody can find it. So if several people have said they'd like to work with you, they should contact you there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fully booked up for the year.
I thought so.
Crazy, but you can book emergency appointments. They're just a bit more. So yeah, but I still can see new people. So yeah, come along and.
So you just said you're fully booked up for the year. This is March, and you're fully booked up for the year.
Yeah.
That's great for you, but it's such a commentary on how many hurting people there are in this world.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, oh, the cases that I deal with and the people that are suffering. I was dealing with this lady, and her mum had been completely overtaken by reptilians. Her mum was possessed by a female reptilian energy, and then that had gone into the mother. Oh, another sign of reptilian energy. They don't like if the mother is like on the female side and loses contact. So you've got a woman that has lost contact with the masculine side because it's too scary because of the reptilian energy. They have the inability to say no to their children, to discipline, to organize, they haven't got that side of them.
Interesting. So they have a difficult time saying no. This seems like a silly question, but I Am Monica is not a silly lady. She says, can you see it on the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
No, I am not physically like, I mean, my partner has seen them. They've come through more into this 3D reality, but no, it's all transfer my consciousness to them, and I see it and feel it.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, if you're just walking, shopping, and someone passes by, do you sometimes pick up, oh, there's a strong reptilian consciousness there? Or do you have to have it turned on?
Oh my God, I can't remember this story. So I went to America. My sister lives in America. We were at this coffee shop, and this is like, a few years back. I'd just done quantum healing hypnosis, and I was Dolores Cannon. She's an amazing lady, bless her. And so I was in this coffee shop in Texas, and this woman came, and she had reptilian eyes. And I was like, oh my God, she's got Refi. I was like, well excited, because I was like, oh my God, there's one. There's like a physical being. And she went and sat down. She was very, yeah. And so then I asked my sister's friend, and I emailed, because they were friends. I'm like, yeah, this was so, matter of fact, she's a healer. She deals with stomach issues. This is normal. Yeah, you get the refuse. And I'm like, oh my God. And then there was loads of different attacks afterwards, but it was, yeah.
Amazing. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like taking a few calls?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So you know the rules, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be polite. You have to be interesting. And you got to be on point, because Becky doesn't have all night, or I don't even know what it's like morning for you, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
I appreciate
10 to 5.
Wow, I appreciate you getting up. And we have our first. God, they're just loading in. I gotta wait for them to stop a second. They're just pouring in. All right, it's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Becky. Go ahead and get right to it, please.
Yes, hi. I was wondering if she's ever heard about a tailbone going missing. I did have one. I didn't have surgery, but I no longer have one.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever heard of a tailbone going missing?
No, I haven't.
Some back pain, and I felt back there, and I mean, it's completely gone. And I have a friend that works, actually, he's in the White House with CBS, and I was asking him to come actually confirm that it's gone, and he checked his, and now he no longer has one either. But he's like, well, our bodies change and bones shrink, and I'm like, but they don't go missing.
Wow.
Yeah. When we get more close to our authentic self, away from certain fake DNA and stuff, our body starts to change, and it can change very, very, people can grow taller, the structure of the body changes, everything. So it's like the more close we get to our own consciousness, the more we come physically who we are also.
The thing that hit my mind sounds crazy, but if she lost a tail, then maybe she was freeing herself from reptilian entities, right? Because I wouldn't trust the guy from CBS. He's fake news. I'm kidding. Sort of. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Becky. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, I was just talking to you, and I got disconnected about the tailbone.
No, we went on to another call. Thanks so much. You're live with Becky. What's on your mind? And please turn on your radio.
Yeah, I'm going to right now.
Come on, John.
This is John in Tulsa. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask her about the fish god, Dagon. This stuff goes back a long way back, and the Catholic Church wore the fish hat that Mithra. There's a religion, the Mithras.
Right.
Anyway, there's that. But anyway, there's a good. If you go to Wikipedia and type in this serpent thing and everything, you'll see all kinds of information about it. But that's what I wanted to ask her about, what she thought about that going back that far.
What do you think about that, Becky? Does it go all the way back to the fish gods and the Pope hats that look like fish and all that? I guess that would go all the way back to Enlil or Enki. One of them, or Oan, I think his name was, came out of the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the history that goes back. I just know that this goes back to the Watchers, these giants that are split. So you've got part of the Watchers that seem a bit more positive towards the consciousness in this universe, and the other one that just wants to completely get us to be taken over by AI. But all the same, really.
You are live with Becky. What's on your mind?
Hi, Becky. I wanted to ask if you and Jeffrey could talk about energy centers in the body and chakras and how that relates to Rh negative blood.
Okay. Chakras. Chakras. I don't see chakras. When I look at the consciousness, I don't see them. And how I perceive chakras is just an overlay to manipulate the energy within the body.
Boom! You're the winner. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Same with Mibian lines. I found recently we've got 12 Mibian lines in the body, and what they were created for, we didn't naturally have these. They were placed in our consciousness through abuse from the Watchers, so they can gain access in our consciousness. So what people are doing is clearing the Mibian lines. And
that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Michael loves that. It's beautiful. That's awesome. That's what. Yeah. You are obviously brilliant because you agree with me a lot. It's late in the heartland. You're live with Becky. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys. It's Chuck.
Hey,
nice
Chuck.
To hear the things that she's talking about tonight. I actually went to her page. I watched the video that she released earlier today, and I went on there and I watched the first video that came up. It was about 15 minutes, and I was just automatically like, wow, this is so much in line with things I've heard in the past. And my attention went directly earlier, listening to you guys have a conversation, or her basically explaining these things, that what you talk about with the Ingrams.
Right.
There's a really big correlation there.
There is. It's shocking how close they are together. And yeah, I really appreciate you calling in, Chuck. That's a great point. And you are live with Becky. What's on your mind? Hey, Joe, what's up?
So I got a postulation and the question rolled up into one.
Okay, go for it.
So what Becky said, that the consciousness is fractaled into another dimension, a separate dimension, which is another matrix. And since I am, by quantum physics, connected to that other part of me, can I, as the troublemaker that I am, stir up trouble in that dimension, like you are doing with the whole game?
So I don't know if you picked that up. Joe has obviously he's got a physical challenge, and he's brilliant, and he asks great questions. He says, so if I get my consciousness split and part of it goes off into another reality, I think that's what you said, can he start causing trouble in the other reality like he's known to be mischievous in this reality?
Well, Jeff, we're generally living many lives anyway. So we have our soul that produces light bodies, and our light bodies is how we create this 3D reality. So you can actually be living, most people are living many lives at the same time. So you can be causing lots and lots of trouble all over the universe.
So be happy, Joe. So
Yeah.
Becky, here's a question that I've thought about it, but I always think about it when I'm about to go to sleep or when I'm in the shower, when I can't do anything about it. And I'm going to write this down because there seems to me that I know that there's more than one of me across dimensions. And there's got to be a way for me to line all of the Jeffs up and take all of that Jeff energy and laser focus it on an issue in this Jeff's reality. And I can use all the power of me to boom and take care of something here. Do you think that's possible?
That's what naturally happens. So when you ask yourself the question, if your light bodies, your female doesn't know or the male doesn't know, that information then goes back and it connects to our spirit, which is then connected to the soul, and it travels, and then the soul goes out to all your consciousness, and then tries to obtain the information and then send it back to your light body. So it's the reason we live another reason why we live in many lives at the same time is to help with the evolution, to quicken it up as quickly as possible. This is why it's so important to rely on yourself, to trust yourself, to believe in yourself, because everything that you need to evolve and everything that you need to understand is within yourself. And if you don't officially know, like at first, or understand, ask yourself, the information will come, or reality will show itself.
Beautiful. We are the one. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Becky.
Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Becky.
Hey.
Kelly, darling.
Hey, Kelly. I sent you a
Hi.
message on Facebook, too. If you get a chance, check it out and give me an answer.
Okay, the answer is yes.
Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you.
I guess the kind of question, I guess, I want to say something.
Sure.
When I was, like in my 20s, I already had my 3 girls and all, and not around a guy for a very long time. I ended up pregnant.
Ooh.
Lo and behold, miraculous thing. At the 4-month pregnancy, it was just gone. It was just gone. But ever since I was a little girl, I have been being taken constantly. So, I mean, I knew what was going on. Yeah. But about 5 years later, I started really researching, trying to find out how to go about connecting with my son that was gone. And I didn't realize the connection between the male and the female voices that started debating and bickering and volleying back and forth in my head. And I ended up with grand mal seizures and on medication. And I come to the conclusion that it was inner voices, not external, because I'm a little different. And
well, that's obvious because you're here, but
but I didn't realize till I heard Becky was the first time I've had affirmation of what I suspected was going on, was the masculine and feminine within me were fighting. And the more I learned from her that the reptilians don't come to the feminine, my feminine side was very strong. It was the masculine I was lacking. And when I was strong and started studying and started to hunt, I was more healed and more balanced in everything. And it wasn't time for me to know. And so it kind of kept that side out of my life to protect me from knowing or becoming more open or whatever that whole case may be.
That's fascinating stuff, Kelly. Thanks for calling in. Do you want to respond to that, Becky?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know your case personally, but it's like the lady that I recently saw, who was working with this galactic beings and stuff like that, was led to believe that she had a baby on another planet, and she was trying to connect with it, and it was very reptilian energy, and false. It was false light. It was false information. Not saying that yours is. I was just saying this lays to it, because what I also have come across is that ETs come down and harvest the eggs from women, and they impregnate the woman gets impregnated, and then they take the fetus quite early on. Now there's something within, if you look at all interaction with ETs, there's something within that, in the trauma within that person, that allows that consciousness to have that happen. So if it's there will be a certain belief or a certain trauma, and that trauma gets repeated. So it's like people with like targeted individuals and stuff like that, you know, and they're seeing helicopters, they're getting tracked, they're getting this, they're getting that. There's got to be something within their consciousness at a very early age that happened, allows that to happen. Belief structures that set up, so you have way more control than you think. There's always links to a certain trauma, so it's going back there and finding out. But yeah, I mean, this is what I do. People come with their stories, Jeffrey. They want to understand themselves. They want to know what happened, because there's so much missing information within them, and they know, like, something happened to me. I want to know. And that is just healing in itself, because the lack of, not understanding, it actually pulls consciousness back. It doesn't allow us to evolve. So once they find out what's actually happened, because you can create loads of stuff, or really go into a dark place trying to understand. So once they know, and it's like, oh, okay, safety can come back.
Now, Becky, in the white Dianetic work that I do, and I'm probably gonna have to get back into it. It's very hard, so I haven't done it. But when people are not what we call clear, they hear a lot of voices in their mind, and are like Kelly was talking about. But once they become clear, you don't hear voices anymore, because you're optimized and your brain's working way too fast to hear this conversation or hear voices. When you get finished with people and people are integrated, I'm guessing they probably don't hear voices anymore in their head either, right? It's just boom, boom, boom. They know, they act.
Yeah, it's basically it's calmness, isn't it? Where they're calm within themselves, and
it's just
they're far more peaceful, and
a settled knowingness and a confidence. Can we take a couple more calls, or do you need to go?
Yeah, no, we take a couple more calls, Jeffrey.
Thank you, my dear. Appreciate it. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Becky.
Oh, Mr. Daugherty, hello. What a great show. You're blowing my mind again. This has become my favorite show, and I look forward to it every day.
Well, I'm into mind-blowing business, and with Becky, business is a booming.
You are. That's what you do. And I've got I'll be very quick. I know you got so many people.
Okay.
I have Exian residue.
That's Christian, Becky.
Yeah, I have a residue. I'm trying to fight it. I'm really deeply questioning. And I am a former Christian, because the blood did bother me. But here for Miss Beautiful Becky, what a lovely lady. Her spirit is just filling the room. Number one, Dolores Canyon. I binge watched Dolores Canyon for so long. What a lovely lady. And then one time I went to Hollywood in 2009, and I saw Kathy O'Brien. And then somebody there said, have you heard of David Icke? And then this is when my mind popped. I started binge watching him. I put them together, and I put them together. I want to know, what do you think, Miss Becky, Miss Beautiful Becky, of David Icke? And also, I can combat this with love. I know that a demon was sent. For 17 years, I was married to a demon. Was sent to take me down, because I'm a light worker. I want to bring that up with you. Does every light working woman, every person with a good intention and of love, do they have an attachment, generally in a mate or a spouse or partner?
Thank you. So what do you think about David Icke, and what do you think about that question about a mate and a spouse and a partner?
I love David Icke. Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, I was
Mr. Icke. Come on the channel. We need you on the channel.
Yeah. He's yeah, when I woke up, I was 27, and I was like, just with people. Yeah, so he did a thing on Brixton, I think it was, a channel, and it was just like, wow, oh my God, this is amazing. And yeah, so it was, yeah, love that man. We're all beautiful. We've all got hearts, and it's pure, and it's gorgeous, and all of us
Do most women light workers have an attachment from a male? A bad attachment?
You know, our male energy is really highly. I mean, I don't see. I mean, there are possessions, and people get attacked. That's what, you know. It's kind of like asking a doctor, are all people sick in the world? And they just see sick people all the time. Do you know what I mean? So their perspective, like, everyone's sick, but actually that's not the case. So I don't feel that everybody's got attachments, and it's actually their own self, their own. People think they're under attack, and actually it's their own consciousness attacking one another.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Becky, tell people how they can get a hold of you. Please tell your website again, tell your YouTube channel again. And even though you're booked up through the end of the year, I think I heard you say that if someone is willing to pay a little more, you can do emergency sessions.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. My website, so you just need to go to my website, is findthelight-rb.co.uk, and you access there. You can access my YouTube, you can access my blogs, you can access Patreon, you can find out about me, and also book an appointment, emergency appointment at the moment, if you wish.
Becky, I'd like to have you come back on a regular basis. Maybe we can talk about you coming on every couple of weeks or so, because I mean, it's a huge crowd, calls stacking up, and I find your work absolutely fascinating.
Oh, bless you. It's that's really so sweet. Yeah, we can talk about that. That would be great.
All right. Becky, anything that you'd like to leave with these kind of people? Thank you for staying longer than I asked you to. What would you like to leave when people are pouring a cup of coffee tomorrow or something, and they pause for a moment? What would you like to leave in their mind to ponder?
Yeah. You know, all the darkness, all the reptilian, all that it's coming down. Like it's all coming, and your true power is actually within yourself. So it's listening to your emotions, what you want, what you need, what your desires, and actually creating that for yourself, because your heart will lead you to a really beautiful place. And the reason it's been so much darkness and so much deception is because they've had to hide, because we are very powerful. We do have the ability, you have the ability individually to manifest and create your own individual reality. And you're doing that all the time. And so don't get scared of these. They're scared of us.
Absolutely. Becky, that's fantastic. Yeah. I won't do the Michael thing again, but it really is beautiful. We appreciate you being with us tonight. And I'm going to be bugging you to come back again. Thanks so much, Becky.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey, for having me on the show. It's been fab.
And if I did stand you up before, I apologize, and I hope that we can make up for it.
That's grand.
Take care. Bye-bye. That's Becky from Find the Light. And I put her connection in the chat room earlier, so go ahead and find her. What a great lady, and what great, incredible content. And we are going to come back for the rest of the time for your calls. Becky's gone with us for the night. I appreciate her being with us. But I'll be right back after this. I'm going to share a great message with you from, all of our sponsors are amazing, but these guys, this is, and I know I say it because I only work with things that are really life-changing, but these guys from LifeWave, man, I'm telling you, this is some amazing stuff, and it's so amazingly affordable too. And I just check it out. You owe it to yourself to check it out. Come what may. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is the Unindoctrination Station. You are watching Late Night in the Heartland, and we will be right back after these messages. This one message. As soon as the host hits the play button.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. LifeWave phototherapy patches promote an environment that enables the body to optimize its restorative powers and provide specific health benefits, all without the use of harmful drugs or chemicals, all helping you to stay healthy and young. To find out more, contact your distributor or visit lifewave.com. LifeWave. Live long, live well.
How many of you expected her to say live long and prosper? I was kind of waiting for that, but it didn't come because that's not what this is about. But go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on that logo, and these things are absolutely incredibly amazing, just like Becky was. Becky, find the light -rb.co. I can't, you'll have to go back and find it. But if you just go on to YouTube and type in find the light space, I think it's a little RB, you'll find it. And it is linked in the box below. So you can do it. I have faith in you. You can find it, and we'll twist Becky's arm and get her to come back on a regular basis, because it's just great information. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, this is Steven.
Steven, what's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Just that there's still so much unknowns out there that, yeah. Was going to ask the Rods if they see me as a dragon.
Didn't we ask this before? Do they see you as a dragon? They say yes, pretty much. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Not sure.
Well, the answer is yes. Stephen, thanks for calling, brother. We appreciate it. It's always good to hear from you. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
I got the sound off this time, Jeff. John again.
Excellent.
On the did you ever see the movie in 1982 called Conan the Barbarian, where James Earl Jones was a serpent god, and he turned into a snake during this orgy thing and slithered off? It was 1982, Conan the Barbarian. If anybody wants to go see that clip, they got movie trailers on it. It's really interesting, where he turned into this big old python and call all of these girls.
Yeah, I was actually bodybuilding then, and so I definitely went and saw Arnold in that movie, and yeah, that was freaky, man. It really was.
Yeah, there's trailers on the internet. You can go type that in and see that. And by the way, before you cut me off, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I have something that is called a vestibular drop attack. I have a tumor growing on the inside of my ear.
Ooh.
On the nerve. And I'm going to have to go down to Dallas, Texas to have it removed with laser knives and stuff. It's a real tedious surgery. It's not malignant, but it does cause me, the damnedest thing, I had these drop attacks, and they're violent. It actually feels like somebody picked me up and threw me across the room, and I landed on my, 3 times this week I've had them, and I landed on my head 1 time or twice, actually. But that knocked some sense into me, maybe. But
I was going to say that, but
when I do that and I go flying like that, they think that I'm demon possessed or something. And this is probably what you saw in the Bible times when people fell into the fire and all that kind of stuff.
wow, that's amazing.
They actually have this inner ear problem that causes you to actually lose total control of your body. Your reactive mind takes over and it throws you. I go left to the left and upside down backwards.
Crazy, man.
Oh, it is. It's the craziest thing. And I've had all I can take of it, so I'm going down and get some surgery on it. They've advanced the surgery with laser knives, and they can get in there. If they can't get it that way, if it's too big, they're going to have to take my ear back and go in through the skull. But anyway.
Well, keep us posted, John. Keep us posted. And I have a feeling that the laser surgery is going to be quite successful for you. So feel good about that. Let's ask the rods. I don't usually do this, but I feel very confident. Is the laser surgery for John going to be highly successful? The rod's a very strong yes. So we're just going to call it so. We're going to call it so. All right. And it's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, how's it going, Jeffrey? Hey, the whole limb and lizard thing, I'm thinking it's connected.
Well, that's why I've now kind of tweaked my wording a little bit. I'm calling them the limpants because I think we've proven that it is, at least biblically speaking, the people of the serpents. So I agree with you 100%.
You know what? It's almost like everything's gotten so weird that people can't catch up.
You're right.
That's how it seems.
That's exactly how it seems. I'm with you.
Anyway,
anything else on your mind?
I don't even know what to say. Oh, you can go on and on and on, right? But crazy times.
Cynthia's asking what your first name is. She never hears it.
My real first name?
No, just whatever your name is on your Facebook or your Twitter or your, what the hell are we on YouTube here?
Actually, it's White Eagle Hodges.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. Of course. We know who you are. White Eagle Hodges, yeah. Cynthia. Come on. Duh. Hey, nice to have you call in. I appreciate you every night you call in. Anything else you want to share?
Well, I don't know. Just, it's like we live in like some kind of like weird movie now.
Oh God, it's the weirdest movie ever.
Yeah. Just keep breathing. I don't know. I'm in a weird place, so it's like everything's crazy.
Hey,
we live in crazy town, Jeffrey.
We're all in it together, White Eagle Hodges. Thanks so much. It's good to see Lily DeJesus, and I know I mispronounced your name, but it's funny. Late night in the Heartland, you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Thank you so much for having Becky on. That was really, really nice.
Wasn't she fantastic?
She was fantastic. I'm kind of nervous about talking to you about a whole bunch of experiences, and I just am happy that you're expanding the horizon of what we can talk about with you. Thank you. I'd like to ask the Rods a question, but it's going to be the weirdest one anyone's ever asked.
Just go ahead. I'm going to let you ask them.
All right. Did a portal open up in my room and take me to another dimension?
It says yes, and that shit's normal around here. Ain't nothing crazy about that. It says yes.
Okay.
Can I ask you, did you want to go?
I was the night before angry. I had been Christian my whole life, and I had come to the conclusion that I had done all the right things, made all the right choices, and I was just not being rewarded like the Bible said. And I realized the Bible was the wrong book. It was all a lie.
Yeah,
God
but
was evil, and I wanted to kill the God. And I ended up just trying for
me
hours
too.
to punch God, and I ended up on my face in the dirt crying, and I just got really tired. And I woke up the next morning, and I got up and went to go turn the door knob of my room, and my body was thrown across my room, and a portal opened up, and I felt like my spirit was ripped into this other dimension, and I had the most bizarre experience, and I didn't dare tell people about it, but Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. It sounds like someone or something was trying to intimidate you, but yeah, go ahead and finish your thought. I'm sorry.
I have one more question because I'm very confused, and it's a problem. It's the only thing that you and I seem to differ in.
Okay.
Can I ask the Rod one more question?
Sure.
Was it Jesus, the character that everybody there was referring to as Jesus, who asked me to dance? Is that the character, a different Jesus than the one in the Bible?
This says yes, pretty much.
Okay, that's what I was trying to explain to you. I saw something they called it. May I ask one more because this is important?
The rods are from me.
Yeah, well, I guess I think the rods, because I want to know if what those beings that I saw in the other dimension, is that who we really are?
Ask it again.
Are the beings that I saw in the other dimension who said that we are their soul siblings who are simply plagued with the disease of fear and separation, is that what we are when we're not humans?
No answer. Interesting. So I guess we'll just have to continue to ponder that one.
Yeah, maybe it's what some of us are.
Maybe. Great stuff. Thanks for calling. That was really interesting. Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Hello in Kelowna, Canada. Rachel, what's on your mind?
Hey, Jeffrey. I want to ask Rod a question.
Okay.
Can you ask him if I have already met my son?
They say yeah, pretty much. Not a strong yes, but a yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I thought so. Thank you.
Can you what?
Thank Becky, too. Oh, my God. Thank you for having her on.
You're welcome. She was fabulous. I agree. It was fantastic. Did you want to ask something else?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
Just thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. And Becky was stupendous. I mean, that is what late night talk radio is for, is stuff like that. Awesome stuff. I'm going to try to talk her into coming on every 2 weeks if I can. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Oh, let's try this again. Oops, damn. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, it's Catherine in Ohio.
Catherine, you're a little crackly. What's up? Yeah, your connection is horrible. Please call back. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, it's Dawn Crotwell.
Hi, Don. What's up?
A quick Rod question.
All right.
All right. My parasite leaving. Or I hate to even say my parasite. Is the parasite in my body leaving me?
Well, since you said the parasite instead of owning it, we'll ask. The rods say yes.
Oh, gosh.
Now, not super fast, but yes, it's leaving. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
What
you
does
can
that
speed
mean?
it up. That just means that it's leaving, but you're doing something right. Start doing more of it.
Okay. I'm doing a lot of stuff. So my life's been hell for over a year now because of it. But thank you. I love you.
Same right back at you. Thank you. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, this is Anna from New York, Benevolent High Priestess.
Hello there. How are you? Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, how you doing? Listen, I'm going to drop some quick bombs.
Okay.
Listen, we know the layer upon the layer and, the babushka's radio, and that's how it works. But if we look at the natal chart, right, that's what my perspective of the kind of portals, personal portals. Natal chart, it's degrees, minutes, and seconds, but it also can be in age and year, and also it's connected to the kin number. Did you hear something about that?
I have not heard anything about that. I'm not real big on natal charts, but it's, it sounds fascinating, and I appreciate you sharing that. Do you have something else to drop on us?
Yes. Also, it's connected to the body graph. It's also the one God created body graph, which is also have 64 gates. And when the soul come into this reality, we have it already a kind of a QR code. It's our natal chart. We already marked. We already have this signature of our personality and everything. And when the soul coming through the one of the gates, from one gate, it's 1092 kind of character of the soul or kind of prediction. We're still in the matrix.
That's fascinating stuff. I appreciate you calling and dropping that on us. Thank you. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello, Jeff. It's I am Monica. Quick question.
Yes, ma'am. A former guest on this channel. I am Monica 57. What's on your mind?
Rod question.
Okay.
I want to know that thing that I saw in my cabin. Did I really see that, or am I tripping?
So you got to ask what we're going to ask. Did Monica really see that? And it says yes. Was Monica tripping bad enough to make her see shit? And it says no. So they say you did see it. You want to tell us what you saw or no?
Yes, I'll tell you what I saw. I was laying in bed watching one of your YouTube videos, Jeff.
Wow. It wasn't my fault, Monica.
No, you're wonderful, Jeff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I sensed something or someone watching me. And I turned around and I saw this massive, my roof is at least 12 feet tall because it's a high vault
right.
thing, that ceiling. Anyway, this thing, I want to say 8 to 9 feet tall. And it reminded me of the Predator. I couldn't see his face, but it was massive. It was massive, and it had like a spear or a stake or a staff. And I was not afraid. I looked at it and I said, "I see you." And when I said that, but as soon as I said that, it was like particles, like it was dissolving, like dust almost.
Wow, Monica, maybe you just wanted to see the show.
I don't know. I said, "Baby, come on, let's watch it."
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. So, did you get the idea that it was malevolent or neutral or maybe even benevolent?
I was not afraid of it at all. I didn't get no fear whatsoever. None. I just said, "I see you."
You know what? I just asked Monica. I said, was this being at least somewhat protective? And the rods say, yeah, pretty much. Did this being mean Monica harm? It says no. Take it for what it's worth.
Now, Jeff, I'm going to say this again. There's a gentleman that contacted me almost 2 years ago. He claims that he is a reincarnated Anu.
Wow.
He tells me that he tells me that I'm a hybrid. Emu and Anunnaki.
Wow.
He says that I have a protectorship watching me. He says there's Anunnaki all over.
So does that make you Emu-naki?
Say what now?
So does that make you Emu-naki?
Emu-naki. And actually, the emu is the big-headed scientist. Why am I dumb as a rock?
Wow. I don't think you are. I don't believe that for a second. That's amazing, man.
Yeah. And so, wow.
Well, I'm going to say that it was one of those things that was, they're protecting you, and they were so interested in that program that you were watching that they forgot to cloak for a second.
I think that was it.
But I'm glad to know that it wasn't malevolent and wasn't there to get you.
I keep telling him to come back. Let's make some tea, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You better get a big cup for him, though, huh?
Oh, that's because he'll have to sit his big ass on the porch. He's going to break my sofa.
Monica, always a pleasure to hear from you. Don't let it be so long again, okay?
All right. Take care, Jeff.
Thank you, dear. One of the sweetest souls on the non-spinning ball earth. I am Monica 57. She's amazing. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
It's Catherine.
Now we can hear you.
Yay. Hey, So I was gonna say to, was it White Eagle? Like, things haven't gotten weird. We just perceive them now.
So you're saying shit's always been weird. We're just realizing how weird it is.
Right. I mean, Becky's talking about watchers. That's how far long ago,
Yeah, and I don't believe in the Watchers, but I mean that's just what she's calling it. I get that. I think the Watchers were forged, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something analogous to it. So,
Right. I mean, whatever they are, I don't really get stuck with the names.
Yeah,
weirdos messing with humans.
Exactly. But you know me, I'm like a stickler for the language. But yeah, I'm with her. And you notice I didn't stop her and say, "Well, we don't believe in the Watchers." So I'm trying to grow.
Well, I mean, perhaps it's always like the same kind of beings, and everybody's talking about them in different terms.
Oh,
and,
damn. I meant to ask her, Catherine, if how the masks are affecting us energetically. Damn, I have to ask her next time.
Well, I think we know. I mean, it's slavery,
Oh, absolutely. All right, Catherine, drop something else on us.
Yeah, talking about the C word today. I just wanted to share an experience I had. One time I did, take that C guy as my savior and all that garbage, and it made me so sick.
Ooh.
I mean, I felt like I was dying until I ordered it out,
Wow.
It just, it's so freaky. It's like a vampiric energy.
It's exactly what it is. Did you see the slide I did about Jesus and Dracula?
Yeah. Wow.
And it's so true, man. I mean, actually, Dracula gives you a better deal than Jesus gives you. But it's so amazing that people can't see that stuff. It's so plain. It's so easy. It's so blatant, but people just don't get it. And I don't understand why people don't get it. But
I don't think there's any difference between an X-Gen and a vampire. If you need blood to make you whole, if you have eternal life,
Yep. You're a vampire.
Crazy business. Yeah. I mean, you could get off on adrenochrome.
And that's what it all comes down to, isn't it? That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, that high is spooky business. I remember it as well, and it was not good. And then I was so sick. But anyway, thank you for doing all the shows. You're just such a hardworking guy.
Well, I wish I had been smart as you are, and I would have been able to get out of it much more quickly, but it just didn't. Yeah, it took me a long time, and it's
I don't regret it though, because now you have the tools to combat it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Teach. Yeah. I mean,
Thank you.
It's better to do it than someone from the inside.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Catherine. Anything else?
All right, take care. No, I'm good.
All right, adios.
Good night.
It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeffrey. I just have one quick follow-up question for the Rods. Was Christian theology indoctrination the reason I was not allowed to stay longer in a different dimension? Does it prevent us from getting
A slow yes. Let me ask it again. Yeah, that was at least part of the reason.
fear? Was fear indoctrination the reason?
Well, what is Christianity other than fear and guilt,
Exactly.
right?
That's why I thought it would be a quick yes. That's why I thought.
Was it
maybe
fear? And again, it says, yeah, that's most of it, but there were other reasons too.
What it is. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I just want to say that the rods are great, but don't make the rods your first stop. Rods are really meant for confirmation of things that you have already discovered from your blink. And they can be looked at as blink trainers. Now, I'm thinking this. Let me confirm. Don't run to the rods like you run to the magic 8-ball or to your priest or to your pastor or to your guru. That's not what it's about. I've kind of stopped selling them at this point because of that. I don't want to be people use them as crutches. They'd have to be really little people to use them as crutches, but maybe they could. I don't know. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, this is Chuck again.
Hey, Chuck again. What's up?
There again. So I had a very shocking experience with my mom and my wife.
What
My
happened?
son was about 6 months old, and it was, I told you the first time I called that I died and saw my body, and like I saw these Anunnaki-looking dudes beside me on either side. Well, this was that category, but I was alive, and my mom saw it. She experienced it. This thing, it was a shadow person. It rushed her.
Wow.
As she was getting into her car. And I thought it was an intruder. It was like dusk, and there was a security light, and it was really dark still. And you could see it. It was darker than the shadows. And we all like stood in awe. I ran inside and grabbed my rifle, and I came outside, and I walked out there, and it made like a triangle shape, and it rushed my wife.
Wow.
She got into the car. And I mean, it was unbelievable. If I hadn't had witnesses, I wouldn't tell anybody about this.
Christina Woodard says she's seen the same thing.
That's it. They're real. I mean, there's no getting around it. They fucking exist, and it's something. It's something,
dude.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's that reptilian mindset or maybe like a transitory hole in like a rip, because it wasn't slightly larger. But it was like a silhouette. It almost looked two-dimensional. Yeah. It was so flat. But
I'll tell you my Shadow Man story. It's been a long time since I've told it. I don't know if you've heard it, but yeah, and I haven't seen Shadow Men in a long time. I haven't heard so much about Shadow Men in a long time, but I was spending the night studying the Bible at this girl's house. And about 3 a.m, I woke up and I looked over into the doorway, and there's this big, huge shadow man standing there. And no, let me take that back. He was just a shadow man, but he was normal size. And I remember thinking, that's weird, because most of the shadow men that I've seen were big and they were wearing a hat. But this one was just a regular dude size, and he wasn't wearing a hat. And I remember thinking, kind of somewhere in my brain, that, wow, that's odd. It's not the normal kind of shadow man. And I watched him, and he wasn't like he was going to come after me, but he was kind of like, fronting me. He was like, what do they call that? Mugging me. He's like, trying to get me to strike. And I'm like, I know what you're trying to do. I was at her house, and if I'd have did the whole "you got to go" thing, I would have thrown him out of the house, but it wasn't my house. So he would have had to leave, but he could have come right back and brought worse beings than him right back in, because it wasn't my house. I didn't have the authority. So I'm like, I know what you're doing. So I just rolled over, went back to sleep. Next morning, I told her, hey, we gotta do some work. You got a shadow man here. Let's clear this out. She's like, oh no, I want to keep him. And I'm like, you either have to keep me or keep the shadow man. She said, well, the shadow man ain't leaving. So I've been dumped for a shadow man. Yeah. Come to find out, she thinks it is her dad who's dead. That's why he looks like a regular dude. But it's not her dad who is dead. So there you go. Shadow Man story. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffrey. I've got a question for you.
Okay, I hopefully have an answer for you.
I hope so. Okay, so you've heard of reptilians, right? You've heard of the Greys, right?
Yeah.
Like 5 foot or under type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is 7 foot tall, similar to a Grey, and they've got the skin of like a bat wing?
Those are called the NB Greys, like the NBAs. They're just tall Greys. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God.
Was it built like a Grey?
Yeah, skinny, skankly. Yeah, yeah.
It's funny because Cynthia,
but not gray, brown. Yeah. I mean, it was like a bat wing.
Cynthia put in the chat room earlier that her youngest daughter, and it's interesting because it was right down by where I used to live in Florida. She would drive down this one street. It was Seminole Boulevard, for what it's worth, right about Seminole Boulevard and Park. No, Almerton, Seminole Boulevard in Almerton, and that the girl would say, "Oh, mommy, yucky bats," and she would see like bat beings like you're talking about.
Okay.
So I guess I'm imagining there would be some type of bat entities. Now,
Yeah,
Will
there's
C
something
says
different.
there's something called the Pendar, which is a 7-foot albino lizard man that lives in the center of the earth.
No.
No, okay. This place has a mall full of characters, says Karen. She's right. So, yeah, BJ Penn says he saw one with a spiky face, but yours just kind of looked like a bat, huh?
Yeah. Can I ask the rods a question?
Sure. Go for it.
Am I a byproduct of what I would consider aliens?
No answer.
Yeah.
So it's going to make you ponder that yourself. Sometimes the rods don't answer like really important, like should I break up? Should I do that? They don't like to answer those because they don't want to be blamed, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, my experiences go so far. I mean, to the very beginnings of my memory.
Yeah.
I mean, like 3 or 4 years old.
Wow.
So and then it's also transcended to my children.
Christina just said seeing those. Christina is extrapolating here that seeing those type of entities is why they made Batman.
Yeah.
Wow, I like that. That's boom. That's good shit.
Yeah.
Well,
there's something else. Yeah.
Keep asking questions and keep questioning answers. It's more than just a slogan, folks. It's a way of life that leads to unindoctrination and true enlightenment. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. If you turn down your radio, we can talk to each other.
Oh, my fault. How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Not a whole lot. I see that you're on here talking about Batman.
Well, the Batman came up there, so yeah. The show isn't about Batman, but it just came up.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Well, it's interesting because I when I was a kid and as well as an adult, I met this 7-foot giant beast with no face, but it looked like a giant human bat.
Are you serious, bro?
And I got his handprint on camera.
And you weren't like tripping balls or anything. You really met him.
No, I really met him.
Dude, how old were you?
No exaggeration. When I first met him, I was like maybe 9, and then I met him again when I was 40, maybe 43 or something.
Did you sense that you were in danger?
No, not at all. But
wow,
it was crazy. I was at a hotel called Castle in the Sand in Ocean City, Maryland, and I opened the balcony door because I was the only person there because it was off season.
Right.
I had a female that, shady character, but she was staying with me.
Y'all was studying the Bible together, just like me and that other girl. I get you. I feel you.
So when I took her back home and I came back to the hotel room, I wanted to feel the ocean air and everything. So I opened the balcony door. And a voice said, "Close the door." And I'm like, "For what? There's nothing out there that could get me." And I looked around and saw that, nothing that could get me. But I always listen. So I started closing the door, and I was like, maybe I'll just leave it open a little bit and pull this steel chair up to the door so, it won't swing open or anything. Then I was like, I better listen. So I closed the door. So I go get in the bed. As I'm laying in the bed, I feel my side of the bed rise up, and I'm looking to the right, and I see something moving under the blanket. So now I'm jumping out of the bed. Then at the foot of the bed, it goes down to the foot of the bed, and then just comes up. And I'm like just staring at it like, what the? And I'm like, I remember this dude. And looking at it like 7 feet, no face, jet black, muscular as I don't know what, bat wings, and I just dropped to my knees and just start meditating.
Wow.
But the funny thing is, it disappears. So I just lay down in bed, go to sleep, and I wake up maybe 4 or 5 hours later to the steel door slamming. And that's when I jump up and I'm like, what was that? And the voice said, he just left. So I was like, wow, he was in here with me the whole time.
Do you think that he was kind of getting his freak on watching you and that girl?
Actually, he didn't come in until after I took her back to her house.
Interesting, man. You know what? That you're taking me way back. This just hit me because back when I was a preacher, right, every now and then I would have a being that looked a lot like that sit on the end of my bed, and I always thought it was the devil. I rebuke you, Satan. I thought it was Satan. But now that I think about it, it looked exactly like what you're describing. That's freaky, bro.
But it got crazier.
Well, keep going.
This female that was coming to see me, because I was doing some things that,
Yeah.
And so she was coming to see me, and she was like screaming and everything. I'm getting attacked by a giant bat. I'm like, what? She's like, for real. I'm on such and such a street. I'm coming up the sidewalk.
Oh, shit.
And she was screaming and crying. So I ran out the door, and I see her flailing and everything coming around the big tree. And I'm like looking, trying to see what she's talking about. And then I see it. This giant bat comes flying between her and between my house and the neighbor's house. And as she gets up on the porch beside me, it comes around the corner and just flies right between us. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm like, excuse me for cussing, but I was
no, that's all right.
And I'm like, whoa, that was really freaky. So I took her in the house and calmed her down and everything. And I'm like, I'm wondering if this is the same being and everything. So later that night, I go back outside and my scooter was parked out front on the porch.
Your scooter?
And I see this, yeah, my scooter that I was riding on at the time.
Dude, you're pulling chicks on a scooter. That means you got some serious game. I'm just saying.
So I see this handprint on my scooter, and it's a giant handprint. And I put my hand in it, and I'm like, wow, that's way bigger than my hand. And at the fingertips, it's round suction cups.
Holy shit, man.
So I'm thinking my neighbor is playing a prank on me. So I wake them up and I ask them, and they're like, no. So I take a picture of it, and or several pictures of it. And I'm like, wow. And I still have it, but I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Hey, I know you're talking about it's Ocean City, Maryland, but do you think it could have been like a Jersey Devil make his way down there?
And that was interesting because I used to go to Southern Jersey to my aunt and uncle's house, Aunt Emma's, and they lived out in the woods, and they had a bunch of bats, and they used to always be telling us don't go outside because of the bats and everything, that it land on you. And,
so maybe they was trying to tell you something else. They had seen those big ass bats.
But it was crazy though that I would go outside with the bat and everything, and they were like, don't, they'll come in the house and we can't get them out. And one particular night they did come in the house, and they were like frantic, trying to figure out how they're gonna get all these bats out because they were all in the kitchen everywhere.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, if they came in with me, I'm quite sure they'll go out with me. And
wow.
I walked out and they came out.
Have you seen the bat dude since?
No.
Interesting. And you didn't seem like you were in danger or anything.
It seemed like he only shows up when it's like somebody I shouldn't be dealing with. It was almost like
I was just gonna ask you, bro. Maybe he was trying to tell you that something was up with that girl.
It was because he ended up having some type of disease.
Dude.
And I'm glad because I found out about that and everything. And same with the other chick.
So he just had your back.
Yeah. I'm just like.
That's amazing, man.
When I was a child, it showed up and it had on, and this was the only way I saw it. because it was nighttime and it was flying outside the window. And I kept hearing something hitting the window. And I finally went to the window and opened it, and it was like, you could see it just flying there. And it had like them yin and yang, them happy and sad faces.
Oh, yeah, like the theater mask.
Faces. It had one of those faces on, and that's the only way I could actually see it.
Wow.
Because it's so black. I mean, it's shiny black. I mean, I'm getting shaken up just talking about it. It's weird, but yeah, it's real.
Man, what a great phone call. Thanks so much for that. And you know, as I hear these things, I've always had a feeling like even things that we say are bad, evil, terrible, some of them are good. And sometimes they watch out for us. And I'm telling you, folks, when we take this dimension back, we're going to have some allies that we never imagined. We're going to have big bat guys helping us. We're going to have reptilians helping us. I'm telling you, man, they look, as it's late night, as fucked up as this place is, we can't be the only people sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So they want to help us out. We just got to make sure that Tracy Dyer nails it. Good doesn't always come packaged as we expect. Nailing it. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffrey, this is Bobby G from Colorado. How's it going, man? Listening to all this, what you're talking about, the Batmans and all right, when I was 8 years old, I got really sick and with the chicken pox.
Oh, by the way, Rachel saw a gargoyle too. I don't want to let that slide by.
Oh, wow. Well, all right, I was in a coma for about 3 weeks, and because I had chicken pox in the brain and all kinds of weird stuff happened to me. And well, what I remember, this was when I was 8 years old, and I don't remember anything before that. And well, what I do remember though is I remember like a dream of what the caller before me was talking about, the Batman kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I remember a fight, like entities fighting over me.
Was the bat guy protecting you?
I believe so.
Dude, I'm about ready to conclude that these bat entities are protective entities. Because I mean, it could be even Monica I am Monica 57's entity could have been interpreted sort of maybe kind of as a bat-like thing.
Right. I mean, this is giving me freaking chills, man. I mean,
dude, I'm stoked. I'm loving this. I got big ass bats that want to help.
Yeah, it's crazy because, all right, and then what's really weird is, all right, I remember that it's a dream, but I remember it pretty vividly. But then all I remember after that was me waking up in my own bed. I don't remember being sick. I wasn't sick anymore. All I remember is me waking up and going, like, thinking, wow, what just happened?
Yeah.
And everything was kind of normal in a way. It was really strange, and that's just really trippy.
Bro, do you remember anything from when?
And it just brought back a bunch of real memories.
Oh, and wow. Batman fights crime, yeah. Hey, do you remember anything from when you were actually in the coma?
All I remember is the fight. I remember.
This happened in the coma. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like a dream in the coma. And see, the only other things I remember is what my doctor and my mother told me and stuff. And of course, my mom was a Christian. She, oh my gosh, it's praise because this is a miracle because I woke up. But it was weird. Well, my doctor told me this, that they were wheeling me to the ER or the surgery to drill a hole in my head to relieve the pressure in my brain because I had so much swelling. Well, I guess I didn't even make it to the elevator, and I woke up. And I sat up, and I told the doctor, and I looked at my mom and the doctor, I guess, and I said, I'm hungry.
Wow.
And see, I don't remember that, but that's what I was told by my mom and the doctor. And this is like, wow. But I don't remember that. All I remember is waking up in my bed thinking, wow, what happened? What just happened?
Dude, that's amazing stuff. That's amazing stuff. And Rachel carrying this theme on, and gargoyles, you know, they look kind of bat-like. Rachel says that she was with a bad guy at the time. She wasn't safe. And up shows this gargoyle. I'm extrapolating a little bit, but I'm assuming that the gargoyle kept her safe. Dude, I think we might be onto some new disclosure here. The big bat guys, the big benevolent bat guys. Wow. This is very, very interesting. And again, thanks to Becky. It starts with a B. Becky's big bat benevolence. This is some interesting shit, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you call some late night podcast excellente. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, I had a quick question for the rods.
Okay.
Are the man-bat creatures that these people are seeing, are they Tartarian gargoyles?
Oh, get the fuck out of here. It says yes. So these gargoyles that the Tartarians
on buildings, Jeffrey,
to
they're there
protect.
to protect the Tartarian monuments.
So you're telling me that these people that built this Tartarian architecture actually had literal protectors? Oh man, that's a deep rabbit. Dude, that is like brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there's some really big disclosure stuff that I think if you dove into the Batman comics and film and all of that, I think there's some good stuff in there to be found.
And Brandon, guess what? I mean, we know what a gargoyle looks like, and we know we're talking about the big bad guys. What does the Zio X-Gen Matrix tell us that the bad devil looks like? The one
like
that
Baphomet.
Or like these bad guys. So they're trying to tell us these guys that are here to protect us are the enemy.
Right, the depiction of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, or
like the winged creatures. So what if it's reptiles versus vampire bats, basically?
Dude.
It's like Twilight, where it's vampires versus wolves.
And and Angel Wings, I love the irony in that, says that she's seen him in her sleep.
Wow.
Dude. That gives a brand new meaning to the little angel on your shoulder. Maybe it's a big ass bat on your shoulder protecting you. But wouldn't that just make sense that the big mean bad guys are protecting us, and they want us to think that the devil and these bat guys are super scary and out to get us? Dude, like Mike says, it's an inversion of everything.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, Jeff.
Wow, thanks, Brandon. And with that, we're going to have to end it, ladies and gentlemen. Damn, Sam, that was some shit right there. That was some really, 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 really good stuff. That was powerful. And, of course, Cheryl reminds us that Donald Trump says that he is Batman. I think cherubim are bad, Ron. I think cherubim are bad. That's been my study. I don't want no cherubim. Oh, Griffin. Timothy come up with some Griffin. That could be some Griffins. I like that. Wow. Interesting. So, that's right. Auntie Queenie. I remember that show. Back in the 90s, it was a cartoon, and they were called the Gargoyles, and they were protectors. Dude, check that out. And the Ninja Turtles, they were good guys. They were kind of like big. Oh, I know they're not bats, but they're like, sort of kind of like bats in a way. Rachel has goosebumps. Thanks a lot for tonight, everyone. Rachel, I wish you would have called in and told us about the gargoyle. Maybe we can get you to do that sometime. Call in and talk about the gargoyle. Wow, man. What a night. Reptilians and spider beings. And what else is Becky talking about? Spider beings. Reptilians, I forget the other beings she was talking about. And then we got bats, we got gargoyles. Dude, we got it all. I mean, it was so weird that even Delaney Black Pearl Jones didn't call in. This right up your alley, girl. Wow, folks, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I've seen the aliens that look like the praying mantis. I've seen them. He was just taking notes. And I've heard that they are actually they're like the note keepers. They're the ones that keep track of shit. What are those called? You know, like the historians and shit. Wow, folks. Wow. That's all I can say about this show is wow. That was some amazing stuff tonight. And boy, it just keeps getting better and better. It just keeps getting better and better. Wednesday night, Mike King. Secret History of World II. They were scribes. Yeah, World War II. Thursday night, Joseph Atwell, Caesar's Messiah. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about Trump. Fiddling while the Republic burns? I don't know. It's been late night in the Heartland. And I want to thank you for making my day. See you tomorrow night.